1.5 million ereka.
Unajua wakati tulikuwa opposition, tulikuwa tunapinga serikali, hatukuwa na pesa. Sasa tumeingia kwa serikali na tuko na kwa serikali, mbona tusitumie pesa na tuko kwa serikali?
1 million kutoka kwa waziri, sema waziri wa fedha
Junet Mohamed. Lokadi milionari.
Mimi mwenyewe nimekuja na mchango wangu binafsi, mimi binafsi.
Now, what was once a staple accusation against Ruto's government has just boomeranged spectacularly onto ODM. Junet Mohamed, Suna East MP, stood in Migori and splashed 10 million Kenyan shillings in cash. The same man who once called this government a den of thieves, Ruto matched it. This is a brazen display of financial muscle in a country groaning under debt, inflation, and crumbling public services, and it has sparked a firestorm of public fury over hypocrisy, priorities, and the source of this sudden wealth. Ndugu zangu, stay with me. July 2026. What was once a staple accusation against William Ruto's administration, the alleged diversion of public funds into flashy empowerment harambes and token distributions, has now boomeranged spectacularly onto the Orange Democratic Movement. Leaders who once branded Ruto and his allies as thieves are now the ones parading bundles of cash at high-profile events, and it has sparked a firestorm of public fury over hypocrisy, priorities, and where exactly this sudden wealth is coming from. The shift is no longer subtle. It is a brazen display of financial muscle in a country groaning under debt, inflation, and high cost of living. June 27, 2026. Kasembo Primary School Grounds, Migori County. Suna East MP Junet Mohamed hosts an ODM Women's Empowerment Drive, and in full view of cameras, personally hands over 10 million Kenyan shillings in cash bundles. President Ruto matches the amount, shilling for shilling. Other contributors line up behind them. ODM leader Oburu Odinga with 2 million. Homa Bay Governor Gladys Wanga with 1 million. Alengo Usonga MP Sam Atandi with 1 million. Treasury Cabinet Secretary John Badi with 1.5 million Kenyan shillings, and several other governors and officials besides. Total raised over 35 million Kenyan shillings for women-led SMEs. Videos circulating now on social media show Junet proudly counting and presenting thick words of notes while leaders cheer him on. Junet framed it as unity. ODM, he said, has seconded its top leaders into government positions and was now backing Ruto's 2027 re-election bid. And it is time that ODM showed its muscle financially. The time for opposition politics and street protests is over, he declared.
One after another, they rallied support for President William Ruto's re-election bid.
His Excellency President Ruto has made it possible for us to belong just like everybody across the country. And that is why, together with all these leaders, as we stand here today, as we sit here today, with one accord, we have agreed that we will work together with all of you, just like with the rest of the country.
Tunafuraha kushirikiana na Rais Ruto kwa sababu analeta usawa ya maendeleo Kenya mzima. Kuna maendeleo Northeastern, kuna maendeleo hapa Nyanza, maendeleo imefika kila mahali.
Tukishikana pamoja, tukikuja pamoja kama viongozi wa sehemu hii, hakuna mtu anaweza kuuza sera ingine hapa isipokuwa ya William Samoei Ruto.
Sisi kama ODM tutazungumza na UDA, and we have made up our mind and decided that we are going to support President Ruto for re-election in 2027. Secondly, we will not support any formation, any formation whatsoever ambaye iko na mtu ambaye anaitwa Rigathi Gachagua.
Wacha nione wangapi wanataka power hapa.
Days later, Nairobi's Kilelesho hosts its own empowerment moment, and Lang'ata MP Jalango, Felix Oduor, takes the mic and drops a line Kenyans won't forget soon. Siasa ya njaa hatutaki tena. Kama hauna pesa usisimame mbele ya watu kuongea. We no longer want the politics of hunger. If you have no money, don't stand in front of people to speak. He reportedly splashed 3.5 million Kenyan shillings of his own. Social media erupted with backlash.
Na Junet ametufundisha kitu moja. Siasa ya njaa hatutaki tena. Siasa ya nini? Hatutaki tena. Na Nairobi tumeamua kama hauna nyam usisimame mbele ya watu kuongea. Kama Migori ndiye Junet alitoa 10 million, hata leo Nairobi sijui atatoa ngapi.
One post summed up the mood. Jalango splashed 3.5 million yesterday. Last week Junet did 10 million. This is all government cash being misused. At the same circuit of events, Sam Atandi openly boasted that ODM leaders didn't have money while in opposition. But after joining government, they suddenly have a lot, donating 1 million as he said.
Unajua wakati tulikuwa opposition, tulikuwa tunapinga serikali, hatukuwa na pesa. Sasa tumeingia kwa serikali na tuko kwa serikali, mbona tusitumie pesa na tuko kwa serikali? Sasa mimi nikisema mimi ni chairman ya budget na nikikuja hapa siwezi toa pesa. Hii chairman ya budget bandia gani? Sasa nataka niambie hao watu kwamba mkiwa opposition, mnakaa opposition na mnakaa na njaa. Na ukikuja kwa serikali ni kitu lazima watu wakule. Ndio nataka niambie watu kwamba wasiwachane na sisi. Sisi tulichoka na kazi ya opposition, tukaingia kwa serikali ya William Ruto, tumekaa kwa hiyo serikali na matako yetu mbili.
Critics immediately connected the dots to the broad-based government arrangement formalized in 2025 between Ruto's UDA and ODM, following the late Raila Odinga's pact. ODM figures now hold key positions, including treasury and cooperatives dockets. Gladys Wanga has been cast in online discourse as the new billionaire philanthropist, her donations feeding the perception of sudden unexplained largesse. Oburu Odinga, long associated with the rallying cry "Tunataka Power," donated 2 million at the Migori event, reinforcing the narrative that political power now translates directly into visible cash power.
Ruto meyaka milioni par. Ruto totam.
Tunataka nini? Hatuwezi kaa bila nini?
President of the Republic of Kenya. Millionary. 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 Dokoradi. Millionary.
For years, ODM relentlessly accused Ruto of looting public coffers for political motivated harambes and empowerment schemes since when he was the deputy president and even the early years of his presidency. Now the same script plays out, but with ODM faces front and center. Kenyans on X aren't amused anymore. One viral thread put it bluntly: the same people looted Uhuru's government, Kibaki's before that, and now Wandai, Joho and Junet can suddenly splash 10 million every weekend. The optics are especially toxic against Kenya's grim economic reality. Remember June 2024? One of the reasons the Gen Z went on the streets and lost lives and blood was shed was because of this blatant misuse of public funds. The optics are especially toxic against Kenya's grim economic reality. Public debt stands at roughly 70% of Kenya's GDP, over 12.8 trillion Kenyan shillings as of this year. High cost of living, inflation, Delayed school capitation, strained hospitals, and stalled infrastructure dominate daily struggles. Kenyans call this classic politics of tokens, short-term cash handouts, and photo ops, buying temporary goodwill while systemic issues fester.
No ra. Ni monda kel million apart.
Things are so bad in Kenya that President William Ruto's government is now planning to go for over 1 trillion Kenyan shillings from savings and credit cooperatives organizations, SACCOs, to fund national infrastructure and development projects. Kenyans are asking, if the development projects and the 1 trillion Kenyan shillings that the government of William Ruto is after is going to these harambees, panic has struck the circle. Millions of Kenyans are now withdrawing their money.
Siasa ya njaa hatutaki tena. Siasa ya nini? Hatutaki tena.
Unajua wakati tulikuwa opposition, tulikuwa tunapinga serikali, hatukuwa na pesa. Sasa tumeingia kwa serikali na tuko na kwa serikali, mbona tusitumie pesa na tuko kwa serikali?
So the question dominating streets, corners and timelines alike, how do politicians who publicly claimed to be broke just months ago suddenly command millions to splash at will? Personal fortunes, party funds, or public money quietly diverted while Kenyans watch the front door for thieves? The mask of moral superiority on both sides of Kenya's political divide has slipped. What remains is raw power and the money that visibly accompanies. 2027 is around the corner. Whether accountability catches up remains to be seen. For now, the cash in ODM keeps flowing. The cameras roll and public patience scenes. What do you think about this sudden wealth by the broad-based ODM group? Drop your comments. Newsroom, Maisha TV, Bushabi Jr.